All right, hello, it's Silverkyle, and today I'm going to be going over everything that I tried to complete or finish in Q3 of 2020 in terms of my backlog for what I tried to set aside and wanted to focus on, where I completed things, where I failed. Most of it's failures this time around. I think this is potentially the worst one, but that's okay because the whole point of this is to try to move myself forward in completing things that I have that I just haven't had the time to go for. And it's okay if I fail because I'll eventually get around to them. And me going back and trying to complete these things, every once in a while, the few ones that I do complete are no longer in my backlog. So I'm making some progress as long as I don't go crazy and buy a ton of things and then I have an even bigger backlog, which tends to happen. And actually, that's what's happening right now. But that's besides the point. I had a good summer, much busier than I thought it would be in terms of being able to actually try to kind of focus on some of my backlog stuff. But I had a great summer. I can't complain. I really can't. And in the next few months, I do think that I will be able to complete more because there's a lot of things that I really want to get into. So I'm really looking forward to seeing what I'm going to choose for my backlog for the next 3 months and what I'm actually going to finish and which one of these I'm actually going to push into it to try to complete in the next 3 months. So I'm really looking forward to making that video in the next few days and figuring out what I'm going to be doing. But first, let's go over what I have completed. So not this. I completed 2 things. This is horrible. I'm going to have to put more movies because movies are very easy to do, and I had so much fun with this one. The Girl with the Dragon Tattoo, I finally watched this movie, and it is absolutely excellent. I love the director. I think it's David Finch. That's weird that it doesn't even say. But either way, fantastic director. I love so many of his movies, and this was no exception. This was exactly the type of movie that I was looking for, where Daniel Craig is kind of like this journalist that gets hired. Basically, something happens in his life, and so he has to kind of go under the radar. And in the meantime, there's this really rich man that kind of hires him to look into the disappearance of his daughter from like decades ago. Oh, so good, so good. And I really enjoyed, so Craig, obviously, and Rooney Mara did a fantastic job as this character who is kind of like this hacker. It's weird, so weird to say the word hacker, but I mean, this movie's 9 years old and it's based off of older movies. And I think that there are some European, I can't remember which one they are. I can't remember which one, and I feel horrible for saying that. But and the original girl with the dragon tattoo is actually, I can't remember what her name is, but she's in the movie Prometheus. She's the main character in that movie, and I thought she did an excellent job in that film. It would have been kind of cool to see her reprise her role in a reboot in English. And what's really unfortunate though is that they never made sequels for this. They did, but not with the same cast and not with the same director. So, and to me, that's what you needed in this, because I would have loved to have gotten a full, complete trilogy with this cast to really see where they were, because I loved where they were going with this, and can't recommend this enough. If you like thrillers and movies where they're looking into things and trying to figure out what happened, you can't go wrong with this film. Loved it, loved it, loved it. We're going to put that there for now. And the only other thing that I completed, thank goodness that I completed it. Both things, though, that I did complete, I loved to death. This is Jeff Johns' Volume 1 Omnibus of Green Lantern. Oh, I can't praise this enough. Now, granted, I have not read really a lot of Omnibus. I haven't read like a bunch of comic books in my time. I've only read, I think this is my 4th or 5th Omnibus that I've fully completed. But I loved this. And I feel that, I mean, I could be wrong on this, but I feel that this is going to be definitely in one of my top arcs ever in terms of the storylines. This was my first real introduction to Green Lantern in terms of reading a full story with him. I always knew the character. I've seen him in different TV shows and things like that. I've not seen the movie, but I knew enough of him. And then when I read this, I just completely fell in love with that character and the mythos, a lot of like the Green Lantern Corps. That's excellent. I would love for them to have a complete Green Lantern Corps omnibus run. Like, that would be so much fun. I loved that. Even when like Hal Jordan wasn't there, this was just excellent. This was so good. I cannot wait to read volumes 2 and 3 and Black as Night. Like, I'm so stoked to be doing that, and that's definitely going to be in my next part of my backlog for the next few months, guaranteed, because I'm so excited to get into them. Next up is going to be everything that I didn't complete. Let's go with the one thing that I did get pretty far in, though, and that is Story of Seasons, Friends of Mineral Town, so the remake. I got pretty damn far into this. I'm really enjoying it. Well, I'm enjoying it not as much as I enjoyed the original Harvest Moon Back to Nature, or even Harvest Moon Friends of Mineral Town on the Game Boy Advance, which is what this is essentially a remake of. The characters, some of the characters look way off completely, so I don't really have that nostalgic factor when I see them, because I'm like, your old character from PlayStation 1 graphics looked a lot better than what you do now, and it doesn't have that nostalgic effect really when you don't hear the music. That's exactly the same from PlayStation 1. Even Friends of Mineral Town on Game Boy Advance, I think, did a bit of a better claim to those songs, even with being played on the Game Boy Advance, which is really strange, but I really feel that it did. And then the characters, I feel that the dialogue is maybe a little bit better in this than the original games, because I mean there's tons of errors and things like that, but besides that, like, even just there's a little bit more story to this, so I do like that. Quality of life features are definitely there's a lot of improvements there, so I do like all of those. It does make it a little bit easier. I do find, though, that the days go by a little bit faster, or that you get tired a lot faster in this game than the originals that they were based off of. So I still really enjoyed it, and if I had never played the originals, I would have really liked this. But when I keep comparing it to the originals, it just makes me want to go back and play the originals, as opposed to enjoying the remake to its full extent, I guess. But it's still, like, if you like Animal Crossing, I still strongly recommend playing this game and giving it a try, because to me, this is much more up my alley than Animal Crossing, but I feel that they're similar enough that you could still enjoy this game if you're a big fan of Animal Crossing. But you might not like it as much if you're a massive fan for Animal Crossing, but this is good stuff. This is really good stuff. All right, because I keep holding this, and I don't want to hold it anymore. Lord of the Rings, I didn't read any of these yet. I was supposed to. It didn't happen. Xenoblade Chronicles was supposed to start this. Didn't happen. I really want to get into this, but it's just, I'm so busy right now with other things. Same thing with this game, which I'm not going to try to pronounce because I always mess it up, but I haven't tried this as well. Was supposed to watch the Dragon... Oh, no, I watched Season 1. I was supposed to watch Seasons 2 and 3 of Dragon Ball Z. Had not watched this. This one I had watched 3 months ago, so it was before this backlog. Same thing with The Hobbit. Right, so I need to read this before I jump into Lord of the Rings. X-Men. I was supposed to read Volume 1 so that I can get ready for the Uncanny X-Men Volume 2 that's being reprinted very soon. Didn't read any of Attack on Titan Volume 3, and didn't read any more of... Because I've read maybe like the first 2 issues or something like that, or 3 of the original Batman from the Golden Age. Didn't read any of that. Just so busy this past month, which isn't necessarily a bad thing, but yeah, my backlog clearly missed out because of that. So I don't think I'm going to be putting DBZ, because I after watching the first season a few months ago, I'm still not in the mood to go back and watch seasons 2 and 3 right now, and I want to be in the mood for it. I mean, it's possible in a month from now I end up watching these, but I don't think it's going to happen. And I don't know which games of these I'm going to be putting in my backlog. We're going to try to figure that out. I have an idea of some things that I want to put in that aren't in here. I know of a few things in here that I want to include in my backlog. I'm going to be busy for the next 3 months. Really busy, I feel. But it's kind of exciting at the same time. So either way, I feel like I'm just going to keep rambling if I don't stop talking right now. So thank you all for watching. You have been Bearded In. Let me know in the comments below what you have, if you've completed anything in your backlog in the last 3 months, and what you... No. We'll wait to see what you're going to be working on in the next few months when I do my plan in the next coming days. So, yeah, just what you've completed in the last 3 months. What did you complete from your backlog this summer? All right. Thank you all for watching. Bearded In again, and Beardage.